Good mornings. Good mornings to good
Morning,
mornings
Mr.
of good
Novak.
mornings.
How
How
you
are
going?
you? Yeah, good. What's
Good,
with these
good.
storms?
I know. Fuck. I think
My God.
it's we're just having some crazy times the last sort of month, aren't we? We've had storms, fires, wind. I think
Hey,
what
where's
this
your action clicker?
yeah, I'm getting on Facebook. Hang on.
Oh,
There we go, Emma. Good morning. Alrighty.
and
Action. Welcome to
action,
Morning Monday
action.
with myself, Michael Bergio, and co-host Mark Novak. This morning, we're going to be talking about claiming like insurance. I think we've had a lot happen naturally in the last month and a bit, and I reckon insurance claims will be through the roof. I
Oh, it's
think
nuts.
what
And you know what? We're not religious people with the Bible and stuff, but the Bible talks about the plague, talks about fire, talks about flood. And in
wind,
4 weeks,
fire.
yeah, I'm almost embarrassed to tell people overseas because there was so many people from around the world that gathered around for our fires. Who
Mm,
would ever think that we're going to be telling the story that we've now got storms
I
within
know.
weeks, not 6 months later, not a year, not 3 years later, weeks. It's
Crazy.
nuts.
Chat, we got lots on this morning. Love it. Luke, Amo, Andrew, Jeff. Thanks, guys. Always being very loyal. Love it. Hope we're always giving value
Yeah,
to yourself
guys.
and your fans as well. But yeah, coronavirus, everything. So I
Oh,
reckon.
it's
So
yeah.
what does this mean for real estate? I think. What do you want to say, Mark? Just before shout
Well,
out
it's
to.
it's
We'll just
this
talk
is
about
heavy.
SES as well. Just the guys
Yes,
behind you.
yes. This is heavy hitting shit. Like how this is impacted, and I think look, when we're sitting comfortable inside our homes, when it's raining, the people that it's impacting is just unbelievable out there. When we're sitting in our homes, when there's fires, the people that's impacting out there is just unbelievable. When we're sitting in our homes and there's viruses, um, like this coronavirus, and we're okay, you don't want to forget about all these guys around you. And one of these things that Michael and I were talking about was the SES guys last night, all this week, and the last couple of days that have been around. These guys are voluntary, like the Rural Fire Services. These
Mm,
guys are voluntary guys that in you know trees falling down, floods, people stuck in cars, people stuck in homes, people being evacuated. These guys are out there, and a big pat on the back and a big thank you to these
100%.
guys. Huge.
It takes like just a special good person to be able to be doing that. Like sort of if you think of everything at the moment, like with economy, everything's hard enough, but then to not take time away from your family or your job to just help others with no financial reward, it's quite amazing. I think it's big
Well,
hat off.
yeah, like 60 Minutes, there was these firefighters that lost their lives. There was a thing last night on it. These guys are literally risking their lives, and they're telling their families and friends that they're going to go do that to help
Mm,
others.
yep.
Big thank you, big pat on the back, and a big acknowledgement from all of
Well,
us. Hey,
yeah, 100%. And I'll do an applause. Where's this? There we go. Look, Luke's had a good question. I wouldn't mind brainstorming this with everyone in itself. Like, how will these affect the economy or this disaster? Now, as bad as it sounds, could this potentially be good for the economy on a couple levels where money's being spent, just a general throwing it out there, or because there's just, I don't know, is it good besides all the personal stuff and that's terrible and the loss of life and properties? But is it actually a good thing for the economy? Are things being like, is it going to get the money spending? Because obviously what the government was trying to do with lower interest rates is get people spending. And obviously through disasters like this, it gets people spending. But so I wouldn't mind if it's actually a good thing, or is it really bad? As we spoke about just before, Mark, your takeaway restaurant is probably down half its business in the last 2 weeks. So he'll be
yeah,
sitting there on the corner going, "This is fuck for me." But how I would like to get everyone's views. Do you think this? Not that we'll ever choose to have this to stimulate an economy, but is it, or is this just like nail in the coffin?
yeah. Look, I think it's designed in some way. Human nature is designed to do stuff like this, and I know with the fires in all of the regional areas, the bushes and stuff like that, it's a natural way of respawning the earth, where it literally these places will a fire will ravage through. Seeds drop from the older trees, and all of the stuff on the ground burns away and exposes the soil. The sunlight can get in, because the leaves aren't there, can get in to those seeds, and the new trees grow. So in a funny way, I reckon, look, I'm not a herbal person or anything like that, but in a funny way, this respawning, whether it's with floods or whatever it is, I think it's sort of nature's way of sort of a factory reset for a computer.
Yep. All right, let's get into. Yeah, I do. Well, let's get into our topic: claiming land. Like this landlords, claim insurance companies must be going scratching their head, going, "Fuck, we just copped it, bang, bang, bang." So, if you're a tenant, if you're a landlord, Mark, what are the options? Let's use floods, the most recent one, water damage. What do you do? What do you have to do first? Can you just let your living room be under, if you're renting, under 2 foot of water, or do you have to engage? What do you do? Let's say your living room's flooded.
Well, I think first of all, I think it's really important to be considerate of others. Last night was in North Head, which is there's the south head of Sydney and the north head of Sydney, the heads of the harbour, right? North Head, which is where we are on the northern beaches, recorded the highest winds for 16 years last night. These winds were hitting, I think, between 105, 115 kilometres an hour. With winds like that, that's going to drive rain. We've designed all of our architecture to protect us from rain that comes from up. Right? What does rain do? It goes from top to bottom, it goes vertical. Yeah. That's how we've designed all of our buildings. That's how we've designed our windows, our awnings, our cars, our everything. It's been designed that way. Last night, when you've got a wind driving at 105 to 115 k's an hour, it's starting to pushing your water that way. So a couple of conversations that I've had with friends and family is guys, give it a break, your house, because even if your house has leaked a little bit, it's that 0.001% of the time that you're going to get this unbelievable weather. So I think that people should be a little bit tolerant, because it's very, very unusual. This 1 in 16 year wind that we've had and floods that we're having is very, very unusual. Now, if you can give it a little bit of a break, you're leaving room for people with true emergencies. Yeah. You're leaving room for people with true emergencies. So I think probably the next 24 to 48 hours, your insurance claim's still valid. Check on that. But with emergency services, try to be considerate of others. If you've taken in a little bit of water, it's probably normal. It's probably, for the unusual circumstances that we've had, it's okay. And if you can pipe down, it will allow all the emergency services and insurance companies to hear the people that are in true dire straits.
Yeah, I'm just bringing it up. I'm doing the screen share for the wind. It's pretty crazy. Where is it? Why hasn't it changed yet on Insta? It's probably coming 3 and 4.
So what do you think?
Yeah, I'll just bring up the wind. We're basically 15k, huge. Just to show the increase of the graph the last few days, the highest. So yeah,
like a weather station.
Yeah.
Now, with property insurance,
that's a very good point, though, Mark. If it can wait, because there's in the scenario like if you've got something minor, which is obviously it does impact you, you've got to sit back and go, do you think it's a work? Like, are you going to be pulling attention away, clogging up the phone lines when it can wait? I was surprised with my car, Mark. You could claim it 7 years later. So most of the insurance things is check, but it's not like you've got a couple of days to claim it and then that's it, and then there's no you can't do anything. So I think we've got to be a little bit just sort of it happens and really think, is it come up now?
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
That's pretty fancy, dude.
Like 60, where is it up here? Monday the 10th. What date are we? We are the 10th. So, okay, just
Yeah,
going
it's
through
probably
this as
today,
well.
the far left.
Look at
yeah.
that. Look at that. Strong there, 16 west. As he said, sideways. It's crazy.
I saw one of those old-fashioned bus stations next to a lighthouse. This thing's been standing for 60 years. It's been completely lifted up and leveled. This has been exceptional winds. So don't beat yourself up over it with your house or unit.
Water will get through. Basically, expect water. Like we've already had a couple of people, like obviously say they got water coming through, but it's normal. I think it would be very unnormal if you didn't have water come through your property. Basically, I think that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Like for us in my house, we've never had water before, and my room was flooded. It just happened. I've never had it before, so you just go through it, and then yeah. But okay, so, what else, Mark? So what are we talking? We're talking about insurance claims. So first one, if it's not an emergency, just wait. Basically, is your first sort of message.
Not an emergency, wait. Now, if it is an insurance claim, record it, particularly when it's happening. Video record, date stamp, witness, not just yourself, but having more than a couple of people there. I think that's important. Now, insurance companies are pretty good, but they are bloody slow. The last claim our family had with insurance, it took about 9 to 10 months to settle from the storms. I think it was September last year. It sometimes can take a while. We ended up getting the ombudsman to look into it because it was taking so long. But look, most insurance companies are pretty good, but they are really under the pump at the moment. So I think you've just got to sort out if you can wait with critical stuff. Now, parts of the northern beaches have been evacuated, Michael.
Yeah, Narrabeen, and that sort of Collaroy. I was watching a lot of video on Instagram, and wow, it's deep. Warriewood itself, it's a lot of water. So if insurance companies are slow, a lot of it would be then probably advice is to probably just get the issue fixed and then claim it. So I think a lot of people will go, I'm not paying for it. It's the insurance company will and let it. And if it's water, then you get mold, then further damage will come. Now, what happens there, Mark, if you're renting a property and you say, well, it's not my property, they can come fix it when it's time. But obviously more damage comes because there wasn't any basic level of care taken to resolve the issue. Is then the tenant at fault, or will the insurance, like that's a bit of is that a grey area? I probably do sales, so I'm not fully in with property management. If anyone can, Mark, can you assist with that? So if people are thinking, I'll do nothing, it's not mine, is that the right approach?
You've got a duty to do the right thing with reporting. So, and if there is an issue there, you do have to report it there. Obviously, again, the next 24 to 40 hours, we're just working out the absolute critical stuff. People that are actually out of their homes. That's the real stuff to work on. But unfortunately, when water stays in stuff, it can ruin it. So with if it's a natural timber, believe it or not, it's sort of okay. But we've also got a timber that we use in kitchens and in bathroom cabinetry that's got its compressed fibers. So when you have chips, when chips are really, really fine, like shredded, like cheese, even finer, like Parmesan cheese or like a coffee grind, they compress it into compressed timber called MDF, medium density fiber or chipboard. Now, when that shit gets wet, it doubles and triples in size. You cannot fix it once water gets into it. So I think that if you can get water away from kitchen cabinets, if you can get water away, most doors are not solid doors. as in true timber. Most doors are compressed fibre, which is your chipboard or your medium density MDF. If those doors get wet at the bottom, if the doors in kitchens, bathrooms, bedrooms, any of those get wet, they will blow out. So if you can restrict water touching those areas, mop up with a towel, it's going to save an absolute fortune, so people don't have to replace cabinetry.
Yeah, and air dryers as well if you've got some handy, if not hire one of in the interim.
Hair dry, and believe it or not, Gyprock does blow out a little bit, but it's not that bad. So what your ceiling's made out of, it can or will discolor, but it actually it won't blow out like the doorways or like the cabinetry in kitchens and bathrooms. Message is protect your kitchens and bathrooms.
Roof leaks are so common and normal after extreme heat and sudden shift in temperature. We've seen terracotta tiles not holding up the change of temperature. Wow, yeah. Very, very interesting. So the roof there, because of the rapid hot and cold, they're actually cracking. Wow, okay. So there's a lot of things that are going to come out of natural weather, and I think it's really just be aware and do a health check on your property, renting or owning. Just basically have a wander around, check your seals, check your roof. Like I would not have even thought about the tiles on the roof from the heat change, hot and cold, and then cracking. That's a big one to check. Thanks for Mark for dropping that in, because that will then cause, if there's cracking, then water will come through. There could be a loose tile that blows off, hits a car, hits a person. So that's major things to check. So I think the biggest thing to come out of today, guys, and especially because we're expecting further rain all week, New South Wales, is do a health check on your property of those basic things and assess them yourself, or speak to a property manager as well.
Believe it or not, if you've got the ability to get into your roof cavity, you may be able to catch something before it goes bad. So in every top floor property of houses, there'll be a manhole, so just a hole in the roof where a man or woman can fit through. And,
equality. Yeah, there's a hole in the ceiling for everyone.
Go up there with a torch. Now, my tip is, if you turn your torch off and you can see light coming through the roof, that's a trouble spot, because that's where water's also going to drive in through on extreme weather. So hitting it with a bit of silicone or a bit of chewing gum, whatever, is going to actually help keep the water out. But definitely at the moment, I think you may find you're actually taking water in areas you don't realise, and if you can restrict it. Or that being said, I think last night was the worst of it. I don't think it's going to get much worse than last night. I think
you know what, guys? Yeah, especially for the agents out there, now's a great time to be calling your clients and have an excuse to call them. Like, you always want frequency in contact with your clients, prospective buyers and sellers. Now's a great time to speak to those prospective sellers and just do a health check on their property. Offer to come over and do a review on their property, see how it's going. I bet it will definitely put you apart from the rest.
And also, we've got some great trades we can offer them.
That's the thing as well. So be that real estate agent for everything, not just coming to sell their property. That's where we do this. We want to add value in all aspects. So call your prospective sellers, offer them any advice, offer them to come around. We do have trades. You do have trades. So now's a great time to be getting on the phone.
Trades.
The best trades. So I reckon that's a really good point around there as well.
Floods, plagues, fire, all within 4 weeks. Insurance, documents everything heavily. Try to have a third-party witnessing, so it's not just you making the claim as well, just in case that you're pursuing it even further.
Yeah, keep in mind, a lot of things on your iPhone these days, they track your timing that you do it. So if you're doing a video, obviously you can have a photo of the newspaper in there for to confirm it, but also
you've been watching too many movies.
Sorry?
You've been watching too many movies. Where would you find a newspaper in your house?
I know. I don't think I've seen a newspaper.
Contributing
You'd
murder
almost
movies.
need it. Yeah, too many
Yeah.
newspapers.
Yeah.
So, but you guys get the point. Make sure it can be verified. But a lot of your iPhones do that with your destination time. Then you can screenshot that. So,
And
I think that's a big one.
please be tolerant with emergency services. Again, people have been evacuated from their actual homes at the moment. So give these guys a fair go. Let them get their stuff sorted out with emergency services and stuff before we call upon emergency services. I.e., if you've got a tree down in your backyard and you're not going to go out in your backyard the next week, you don't need to get attended to today.
Yeah, good point. All right, you guys. Like I said, this will be as normal. We got Monday night rant tonight, 8:00, with a couple of people from the office. So tune in for Facebook, Insta on that. Then it will be converted to a podcast as well. So are all our morning minutes. So if you don't want to watch us, I don't know why you wouldn't want to. You can just listen. And then it'll be YouTubed as well. So if this would help anyone that you reckon out there, please comment and share. And we'll be back tomorrow morning as well.
Before we sign off, Michael, do you reckon all this stuff that's happening is going to lessen property values between virus, Chinese people to Australia, Asian, not being able to travel to Asia, between fire, between floods? Do you think where it's going to affect it? Like, I got a mate of mine that's got a farm in the Hawkesbury. 3 weeks ago, he was sending me a photo of a chopper going over his house, putting out the fires 100 metres, 200 metres away from his house. Yesterday, he sends me a photo of the house only, no land. It's all water all around him, like nuts, as in he can't get in or out of the property. That's got to affect values, I would have thought.
Good question,
in some
Mark.
way. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I reckon it will for the interim. Maybe not prices, sentiment, and time period to buy. For example, Warriewood. If you're looking to buy in Warriewood and now you look it's been flooded, you're not going to be jumping in there to sign a contract. You're going to just probably decompress, have a think about it, let what just happened around the area probably just set in. And then I still think you will buy. I don't think it's enough. I think everyone realizes it is such I wouldn't say random, but like such an extreme outcome, which hasn't really happened for very long time, and so far few between, that it's probably going to be worth it to still continue. But I reckon it will slow it down.
I've noticed a lot of signboards in the northern beaches. Asian signboards have been blown down, except for Novak boards. They're all standing up perfectly. Just joking.
Ours are just so strong.
Ours so strong. Move. They're fireproof, and they're also windproof. I think Narrabeen Lakes and Narrabene's a really interesting one because I've had thousands of conversations with buyers over the years because we've got a lake called Narrabeen Lake that floods. Every single house in Narrabeen, North Narrabeen, I even think parts of Coleroy, even parts of Dee Why actually, they are all prone to 1 in 100 or 1 in 50 floods. The values are affected by these. There's Elite Concreting, how HM. I think people have, I already think people have been considerate when they buy a property with the pricing of property. So whether the flood happens or doesn't happen, I think that already been taken.
Yeah, so it's not the first time they've had water, is basically what you're saying. Like, look at this. I type in Narrabeen floods to Google, and there are so many articles from here, and like it's nothing new. It's an area that, like I say to people, Mark, when we're selling, because we sell a lot in these areas, I go, everywhere's a flood zone up here. It all gets affected.
Well, Coleroy, do you remember Coleroy Beach? Coleroy Beach got nailed. A lot of the houses, all the sand was taken away.
What a good seat. That's normally not full of water.
Yeah.
If everyone can see.
Then there was the guy on his jet ski that got in trouble.
Yeah. I'm just opening. Where's this? Look at this. Narrabeen suburb evacuates floods. This is pretty cool. I think I can play this for everyone. There we go. Look at this. I wonder if you got audio. I'm playing the flood video of Narrabeen.
I can see it. Yeah. You've got it muted.
Look at that. So
That's
this ain't
crazy
the
stuff.
first time it's happened.
And
I don't think it'll be
Michael,
the last.
another thing that SES said, which may sound weird, because it sounded weird to me, but I've heard it over and over and over, is people driving through
Yeah.
roads.
Get a
So
kayak like this guy. Look, Mark, on screen. Get a kayak.
get
Do
a
that.
kayak or jet
Safer.
ski. But the crazy thing is, so many people are in their car, will not turn around, and will go straight through the water. The car breaks down, the water rises. The water can rise. Like, I was checking out my mate's house in the Hawkesbury yesterday. The water rose meters within half an hour.
Yeah.
It was absolutely nuts to watch. So if your car breaks down in the middle of the water, do not be surprised if the water rises and the car gets taken away. That's what you're risking. So when I was reading up on some social media, because we were posting on social media last night to help people around the Narrabeen area about tips and tricks and SCS and that sort of stuff. And the amount of warnings the SCS issues around not driving your car through water is incredible. So it must happen a lot. A lot of people having a go.
Well, I think it's a combination of you want to see it, like it's pretty fascinating. Then I think a lot of it would just also be obviously just taking the risk and don't think it can happen to you. I think a lot of unfortunate circumstances, you all sort of think, like you just go into it and go, nah, I won't be the one that will happen to. It won't be me. I'll be sweet. So I think you've just got to be cautious. It's not worth it, guys.
Those fireys that perished, the two fireys, actually had a tree in the fire hit them. So I think when you're driving along a Pittwater Road thinking I'm going to check out the fires and just check out the floods and see what's happening out there, watch out for those trees. It's not just the water.
Yep. All right, Mark. I think that's it. We've been on for a bit, so it's been good.
So everyone, good luck. And our office, if anyone needs our office is open. If anyone wants office services like to use a printer, internet, coffee, tea, meetings that they can't have in their home because they're evacuated, our office is open to you.
And small cats, you just have to buy or sell a property, but that's fine. Like, that's no biggie.
We'll try to say something when you're there.
Yeah, but all good, guys. Thanks everyone for tuning in. That's a take.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.